What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over the trade that I took. I don't want to spoil because I want you guys to see kind of how I thought, anyway, how tricky it was. I thought it was a very tricky day. But first, let's talk about this. So you can see here it's a $20 loss. That's because I traded on my other accounts today, right? So this was the first trade that I had taken on my other funded account. So you can see it has the dates on here, August 2nd, August 1st, and then um, July 31st. I knew I was getting to that point where I needed to take a trade because I activated this account on the 2nd. So after 30 days, Topstep closes your account if you don't take a trade on these funded accounts. So I wanted to do that, but let's actually go to trading view real quick. I don't want to spoil. Okay, right? So these are the trades I took. It was honestly, it wasn't really a trade. It was just me just saying, "Hey, let's jump in, and then we'll just set a stop loss for 10 points," and that was it, right? So either we got to 356.50 or we got to 336.50. Now let's go over the trade that we took on our actual account. So again, I just spoiled. I hate spoilers, and I just spoiled. But I want. I can't believe I forgot to put replay before I started recording. Anyway, the reason why I thought it was a very tricky day. Oh, I'm so dumb. Anyway, let's just show. So here, I thought it was an extremely tricky day today. Why was that? Because we were in such a tight range. The range was probably the tightest I've ever seen. Not I've ever seen, but like the tightest that I've seen in quite a while, right? Normally, whenever I come into the market to start trading, I don't usually see a range that's this tight, right? Usually, there's some type of expansion going on to where you can kind of tell where you're at, but I could not tell. So because of that, my bias, I was like, I have no idea. I was like, I want to think we're bullish, right? If I had to pick a side, but I truly had no idea, right? So we were kind of just waiting to see what had happened, what will happen, right? As we're in the trade, or as we're waiting to get into a trade. But in terms of our bias, right? Our overall bias, obviously, we've been bullish for a while. You can see prior day value area lows are down here. So the reason why I was leaning towards a bullish bias was because of the fact that one, this is discount, right? So prices are below that. Now, does that mean that you're automatically just going to start heading higher? No. But in terms of the previous day, you were at discount, so it is possible that you could head higher. And two, we weren't testing these lows, right? So this was the low of the session at 6:15. We had not tested there for a while. In fact, the closest we had been was here at 7:04, and we just held, right? So for me, I was like, I think we're bullish, but I want the market to tell me whether we are or aren't, right? So if we reject heavily and hard here at value area high, then we could be bearish. If we bounce off these lows, then we could be bullish. So let's fast forward till I took a trade, which was around here. So you can see here, it was a huge rejection, right? So for me, I was like, oh, we actually could be bearish today, right? We're starting to close or starting to break these lows here, not closing below, but we're starting to break. You can see there's this pivot point right here too. Um, so I was like, maybe we're bearish then because of that, but I need to see us actually come down, retest these value area highs, and then go lower, right? But instead, we actually started getting some bullish momentum, right? I learned from previous video, I can't remember what day, but these areas are not set in stone, right? Like, price does not have to just respect this line and then that's it. It's an area. Support and resistance are areas, right? So just because I have this line drawn, here does not mean that, oh, as soon as you break the line, that's it, right? No, you have to see how price reacts in this area. So this formed a base and is now starting to become a bullish move. So ended up taking that trade on the next candle here because I love seeing that, right? Entered off, I think it was 3 contracts at that time, and then from then on, we just continued to build our position. So obviously, love seeing that candle, and then love seeing that right after it. But normally, my trades take us to value area highs. You start from value area low, and then you go up to value area high. If I was trading NQ, then that would have been fine. However, obviously, we're trading MNQ, right? So I needed a little bit more. Um, I basically needed a bigger target for me to aim for instead of just going for these highs. Now, this could have been a really good scalp. It would have been there for me. But with the way that, again, we were ranging, right? And then this tight consolidation, right? Up, down, up, down, very tight. Because of that, whenever you have a lot of accumulation and consolidation, you're going to have expansion, right? So contraction, expansion. So I was aiming ultimately for this prior day value area low, but also too, you can see here we had this nice high right here at 351 earlier today on Monday. So that's what I was aiming for. So I actually set a lot of my limit orders at like 362.25, 363, and so on and so forth. And we were so close. We were so close. This hit 361.50 right here, but I couldn't get it. We were only 2 ticks away from that. So instead, as soon as I started seeing this huge selling right here, right, I was like, nope, we're out, right? Which honestly was the correct decision at first. That's why I didn't want to spoil, because at first I was like, oh, we could be basing here and then continue higher. But I was just happy with what I got. But before we get to that, let's actually talk about the ads. So again, added here, we were just saying that, right? We added at 801 because again, love to see this candle off high volume. Again, selling low volume, right? In fact, that created a wick here too, as you can see. So I added here as well. And then we also added here at 811, why? High volume. Nice green body candle, top wick, right? Showing some signs of weakness, but again, that volume. Love to see that as well. So that's what we ended up doing, right? So we added on this candle here and we continued higher. But here at this point, you see this? This is where I started getting scared. It was this candle right here at 822. I started getting scared. Why? As it was forming, it was good and then came back down. So top wick there off high volume. If you read Anna Culling's book, Volume Price Analysis, right? Basically, in the very first chapter, he talks about how if you have high effort, you must have a basically a high result, meaning that this candle right here is valid, right? Because you have such high volume that it resulted in this big red big red candle here, right? Full body as well. So because of that, whenever you have high volume, such as this one at 8 o'clock, even this one at 8:11 still counts too, you have to have a high result. Look at this volume here. This volume is almost equal to this one, but you can see the candles are different. And that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to start looking to bail out early if we do not continue higher. And then you can see these candles. Look at that. High volume, right? Wick, so that's a good, but then doji, right? Small red candle, top wick green candle, top wick green candle, and that's when I was like, okay, we're gonna have to start looking to get out soon. So I did end up taking um a couple at 359.75, but then as soon as this started happening, I just immediately sold, and I was like, nope, I'm done for today. I'm good. Now, at this point right here, I was thinking, well, it's possible that we could bounce off of value area highs here and then continue upward, but it never happened. And I was actually really glad that geez, I am sounding like XQC. I cannot talk. I'm really glad that we had taken these value area, that we had Oh my gosh. I'm really glad that we had sold here. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Because this did not hold these value area highs, right? So again, and you're thinking too, okay, well, maybe you could hold VWAP, maybe you can hold current a session point of control. Again, all valid areas, right? If you wanted to add, but I mean, this candle is telling you, like, no, we're going to head lower, right? And again, I've always said too that if I'm bullish, I'm waiting for us to come down here before I add anything. So I wouldn't have added there anyway. We come down here and then we start bouncing, and then I think we're up to date now. So, yeah. So that's probably where I would have looked to have added, maybe on this candle here, right? But and we hit value area highs, so then you end up getting a short move, right? Quick 11, 12 point move. Um, but that's if I had gotten into the trade later, maybe that's what I would have done. But obviously, this is what we did here, um, and it worked out really well. So really, I don't know what I'm titling this video yet, but I think I wanted to say that my mindset has been so good as of late. Like I am honestly so happy with the way that I've been trading. Look at that. Look, it's starting to move now. Um, so happy with the way that I've been trading. Obviously too, right? If we do this, so that way we can see the full um time that we've had this account. Look, look, we're back to even though we're up $460 on the account. It's like we're finally back to even on that maximum loss limit. I'm eligible for a payout. I could take $230, I think. I think Topstep takes like $10 or something, so maybe $220. We can finally get another payout. That'd be cool. But obviously, this time around, we're not. Right? We need to be able to build up this balance now so that way we can actually um, get a more sizable payout, right? And with the way that I've been trading and the way that my mindset has been, I feel so much more confident. So much more confident. Like I feel like I know what I'm doing now. I feel like I know exactly what to do. I've back tested. It's basically that same feeling that I had back in April or late March, right? Now I didn't start my YouTube channel then. I think it was April 7th I started this YouTube channel. But at that time, quick backstory, so another yap session, but I started trading futures in November 2024. And I was so excited. I'll probably make a whole video on this though, but I was so excited to start. I hadn't traded in a very long time. And I thought, oh, I just see high volume and I buy. It's not, it can be that simple, but it's not that simple, right? Started Topstep around that same time, got wrecked multiple times. I just couldn't pass a funded, right? Then comes February 2025, finally get a funded account, have 4 winning days. The account balances up at like $1,500. I'm trading breakouts. I'm doing really well, and then end up blowing the account. Right? I was so distraught. I remember it was a Monday, Sunday night. End up setting some trades. Go to sleep. Wake up. See my account balance is like hanging on by a thread. End up getting the account pretty close back to even, I believe, or at least like $1,000 in. But I end up blowing it later that day. And I said, you know what? I need to take my time, take a step back, and just take a break from trading, right? So from February to March, whenever I blew it to March, I took a step back. I didn't trade, just paper trading or not even trading really, taking the time to get my mental right. And then late March, at the time, I had just finished back testing. I just finished going through what I thought was my edge, came back, and we, basically the rest is history. We're here now, right? So obviously, a lot of things have happened since then. I'll probably make a whole separate video. But at that time, I felt so confident in what I was doing because I knew what I had to do, right? But even then, I still ended up having to come back, refine my strategy again, which is where we're at right now, in order for me to feel as confident as I do now, right? This is the most confident that I feel. I feel like I'm trading on another level, right? Now, obviously, my P&L doesn't really show that as of right now, but this right here, when you're struggling and you're seeing this, and you're seeing, okay, there's some downswings here, but you're mostly above water for the most part. You're mostly above water for the most part. When you see that, that shows that something is coming. It's like something is bubbling to the surface that all of a sudden, boom, it's just going to explode for you. So what I want to say, basically, for myself, yes, I definitely do believe my mindset has been on another level. Like I've been trading really well, right? We look at the P&L calendar, mixture of green and red, but overall we're up. We're actually up for the month, which is cool. Um, but it's not about the profit and loss, right? It's about the process. We need to really focus on that as traders, that the process is the most important thing, regardless of whatever we do, right? If we have a good process, we have a good foundation, we will be profitable at some point, right? There's no doubt about that. And you have to be confident in that aspect and be confident in the trades that you take that are according to your setup, according to your model, and that are playing to your edge, right? And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And that's why in yesterday's video I was talking about, should I risk more? Should I start risking $400? Should I start trying to go for more? Right? Because instead of only being up $66.44, I could be up more. But I'm not at that stage right now where, oh, I'm okay taking a $400 loss. Truth be told, I'm not. Right? Like, I'm okay taking $200 losses right now. Maybe in a couple of weeks I'll be better, right? But I just want you guys to know that if you have a good process and you have a good mindset about how trading is a probability based game, that there's no guarantees, right? And that you just feel good overall about what you're doing, like you will be profitable. You're gonna pass those funded, you're gonna pass those evals, you're gonna get payouts from funded accounts, and you're gonna get to the goals that you set out and want to achieve for yourself, right? So um you will get there, right? Like you will get there. I'm also talking to myself too, because again, this is my public journal, but like you will get there. I promise you. Like you're gonna look back a year from now, Vic, and like see like what you were going through and see how you overcame it and see the moment that you finally burst on the scene, right? Kind of like a young football player, soccer player, basketball player, where it's like nobody really knows them. Maybe they went undrafted, second round pick, if we're talking NBA, you know, and they just pop up out of nowhere. This like that's going to happen for you. That's going to happen for you. And when you look back, you're just going to be so happy that these are one of the moments that you were able, to capture and say, "Hey, like I really have something going on here." So, yeah, that was a lot of talking. But that's it for this video today, guys. Again, like I said, if I were to take this trade again, right, if I were to get back in, value area lows, maybe selling at value area highs, maybe going for this high right here, and then possibly last target is prior day value area low. So, but yeah, I really do love the way that I've been trading, my mindset. I just feel so good about trading, and then tomorrow I'll probably take a loss, who knows? But it doesn't matter, right? It's about the process, and I know that if you guys are sticking to your process, you guys are gonna be fine. So, um, yeah, that's it for this video. I have more stuff on the way. I want to um, kind of start adding some new stuff too, maybe towards the end of the week. So whoever's still watching, shout out to you. I know this has been a longer video, um, but if you guys are doing well, great, and you guys are passing evals, getting funded accounts, getting payouts, let me know. Like I want to celebrate with you guys. I want you guys to keep me updated on your progress. I want to maybe do like a weekly shout out video to shout out to this guy for getting his first funded account, or shout out to this guy for making it 50% of the way there, passing his eval, or shout out to this guy for bouncing back after a rough week the week before. Those are things I want to do because again, like I've been saying in my videos, we have to encourage each other in the trading community. There's so many people that just come into the comment section, want to put you down, want to say, oh, like you should trade this or you should trade that, like, or you should trade like this, or they're giving you like very detailed ways of how to trade. And again, like that's what works for them, but you need more encouragement and basically support in order for you to find your own way rather than someone telling you how to trade, right? Now, if you're asking for someone's strategy and how to trade, then that's different. But like for the most part, that's what we need is just that encouragement that, hey, like you got this, you can do this, So, um, that's why I want to be able to give to you guys and celebrate with you guys, and if you're having a rough time, I want you to let me know too. And Um, again, I'm not profitable. I'm not going to say that I'm profitable or I know exactly what I'm talking about, but we can talk it through. We can go through it together. We can say, hey, like, what's going on? What's going on with your mindset? Like, how are you feeling overall? Um, and kind of go from there. Wow, this trade is really going. But anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I've been talking way too much. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys are trading well. And yeah, keep trading stoically.